Over the years, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon has produced some of the most talked about moments in television history.
Sometimes I go like, that's a little controversial, and you go...
But audience members and celebrity guests are expected and required to follow some pretty strict rules that prove there's more to the show than just looking pretty on camera.
I heard that, and I was like...
You will get embarrassed. Anyone who's a guest on The Tonight Show knows that Jimmy will try to put you on the spot. Not only that, but you're expected to talk about some really embarrassing stuff. Like that time Nicole Kidman told the host that he missed out on a chance to date her during an interview.
I liked you, and he was like, not now.
But Jimmy never realized that the Aussie goddess was even interested and blew it. This obviously left him speechless.
And then I was like, maybe he's gay.
The awkwardness that followed after Nicole's confession did make for one epic TV show moment we'll never forget.
What are you talking about?
But Nicole wasn't sure how to handle the embarrassment that followed and even told Jimmy,
What a day.
Never coming on this show
come
again.
on, you please, no, come on.
scoring tickets isn't easy. While not everyone can appear as a guest, anyone can attend the taping of the show as part of the audience. But unfortunately, scoring tickets is like trying to win the state lottery. Alright, so maybe it's not that difficult, but it's not so simple either. Audience members have to sign up and create a profile through the show's ticket portal. This will enter them into a lottery system that will give them a shot at winning tickets. But these tickets are only released monthly, and audiences can apply for up to 4 tickets per person. After that, it's just a matter of logging in at the right moment and waiting to see if they're the winner. You won't like some questions. Of course, if you're a celebrity guest, you don't have to jump through all these hurdles to be on the show, but you are expected to be okay with getting asked questions you don't particularly like. Just ask Louis C.K., who appeared on the show in 2017. Louis was doing a bit about how much he liked napping, but then Jimmy interrupted him and asked,
You like it better than sleep?
The comedian gave him the most cringy side-eye we've ever seen on TV and said,
Stupid, you just said that. That's a dumb thing to say.
What are you talking
That
about?
was such a dumb thing to say.
Clearly, Louis was not a fan of Jimmy's affable comedy and called him out on it.
Can you just get past this part?
Lip sync battle is a mystery. The Tonight Show has an impressive arsenal of pop culture bits that go viral almost instantly. On a segment, Lip Sync Battle, Jimmy and a celebrity guest come face-to-face to lip sync for their lives. But here's something you probably didn't know. The song selection is kept totally secret between the two competitors. But some guests have left the talk show host in the cold, particularly Emma Stone. The two of them squared off in an epic lip sync battle. Emma had no clue what song she would have to lip sync, but she was quick on her toes when she perfectly lip synced the lyrics to Ludacris's verse in DJ Khaled's All I Do Is Win.
Everybody hands go up.
There's a 6-month ban. Being on The Tonight Show is so much fun, and there are tons of surprises. That explains why so many people want to score tickets. But if you're lucky enough to get in once, don't expect to come back anytime soon. The NBC website states that due to the limited number of shows per season and high demand for tickets, people who've attended the show once are banned for 6 months. So if you want to see Jimmy live again, you're going to have to wait it out for 6 long months. You're forced to clap. If you're a Jimmy Fallon fan, that's not a lot to ask for, right? But how do you feel about being forced to clap, even when you don't feel like it? It sounds crazy, but like most television, a lot of it is scripted, including the way the audience claps. According to writer Matt Young, producers take audience members to a waiting room where the staff reminds everyone to always clap, even when it's not funny. And in case they forget, the show has an applause sign at the bottom of several hanging TV screens. The butt of the joke. If you're going on The Tonight Show, then you better be prepared for Jimmy to make some jokes at your expense. Just ask former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who went on the show in 2015. The politician told a story about how he and fellow politicians Mark Rubio and Mitt Romney took a boat to get some ice cream.
First of all, you weren't like, all right. You were like, yeah!
The governor jokingly tried to walk off stage, but he was clearly okay with being the butt of the joke. It's too bad the audience wasn't allowed to record the funny interaction on their phones, though. Fortunately, there's another way to take home a souvenir. You can't take photos. If you want a memento, then wait until the end of taping and visit the gift shop. But don't you dare take a photo while they're shooting. If they see anyone attending the taping taking a photo of your favorite celebrity or an awkward moment, they'll delete it. And then delete the photo from your deleted items folder. And once they're done with that, they'll ask you to leave. The show has a no picture policy, and it's not the only strict policy that sounds insane. Just ask anyone who has to go to the bathroom. There's no leaving the studio. As an audience member, if you need to tinkle, then you better do it while you're in the audience's green room known as the Peacock Lounge. This is pretty much the last chance you get to go to the restroom. Once you're escorted into the studio, you can't leave. Well, technically you could. You just won't be allowed back in, and they'll ask you to leave. But you can't say they didn't warn you. The production crew makes sure audience members are aware of this strict rule. You will be thrown for a loop. In 2018, the host left Ariana Grande completely dumbfounded during the show's musical genre challenge. The segment required her to perform a song from one artist in the style of another. So what did Ari do when she was pressured to sing Kendrick Lamar's song Humble in the style of Evanescence? Well, the pop star swung her ponytail back, grabbed the mic, and gave one epic rendition of Lamar's lyrics mixed with the darkness of the goth rock group, and it knocked everyone's socks off. Well, not literally, of course. Respect the dress code. According to the NBC website, The Tonight Show has a strict, smart casual dress code that the audience has to respect. But if you've never heard of smart casual before, then here's the 411. Your outfit has to be more elevated and put together than when you're dressing for off hours. That means any clothing that's loose-fitting or too casual is out of the question. Plus, the crew has the right to deny entry to anyone who doesn't follow the dress code. But whatever you wear, make sure you've got pockets to hide your phone. No phones allowed, ever. As much as audience members would love to share their experience on social media with their friends and followers, phones aren't allowed in the studio. Ever. The crew will never make any exceptions. If the crew sees anyone pulling out their phone during taping, they will confiscate it, and it won't end there. And to top that off, you'll get kicked out of the studio. Don't ask about the secret guest. Audiences need to expect the unexpected on The Tonight Show, especially when it comes to guests. Don't assume you'll get to see a celebrity guest on the night you attend because sometimes their interviews are pre-taped, which means a secret guest will appear on the show. But don't bother asking the crew for the identity of the elusive guest. So you'll have to wait to see if you're about to be under the same roof as Kim Kardashian. But besides not giving away the identity of the secret guest, the crew makes sure you're never sitting alone. Be early. As you can imagine, The Tonight Show is a major television event, so the staff can't have any empty seats when the camera pans toward the audience. It's why the show overbooks all the time. So you want to make sure you get to the studio a little earlier than the check-in time, which is 3:45 p.m. But you don't have to be there hours in advance either. 30 minutes early will do. And if you arrive earlier than that, the crew will ask you to come back later. And while you're at it, don't try sneaking in any extra guests, or you'll be sorry. You can't outsmart security. Remember how we said you can only book tickets for 4 people? Well, some folks think they're sleek and try booking tickets for their family and friends too. They do this by booking tickets under different names. But security wasn't born yesterday, and if they notice something fishy, they'll just kick you out. But don't say you weren't warned. Their terms and conditions clearly state that e-tickets obtained under separate names may get invalidated by the audience coordinator. Everyone must be present. The Tonight Show is pretty clear about what audiences need to do to attend a taping. According to the NBC site, your entire party has to be present to check in. Every minute wasted puts you at risk of not being a part of the audience. And if your entire party isn't present, it will forfeit the remaining tickets. So do make sure you're all together and be patient because you might be waiting for many hours. Taping could last 3 hours. As an audience member, you need to consider the entire experience, which starts with early check-in and goes all the way to the end of the show. For a 5 p.m. taping, attendees can expect to sit there until 6:30 p.m. On top of that, there's a lot that goes on before you sit until the time the show wraps up. You can't leave bags anywhere. Going on The Tonight Show is like going through an airport. The studio has a strict rule regarding large bags, and according to the NBC site, attendees can't bring any luggage, backpacks, or large shipping bags into the studio or the Peacock Lounge. They don't provide a place where you can store your bags either, so travel light or find a place to store your bags other than the studio. Be ready for a high five. Alright, so you can't exactly walk up on stage and ask Jimmy for a high five. But at the end of the show, the host runs through the audience and gives some of them a high five. But here's the kicker. You have to be in the right seat. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose where you sit. The floor crew seats you depending on your group number. But if you see him coming towards you, get ready to stretch your hand out. And if you don't get a high five, you better save some energy for some Q&A with Jimmy. Expect a Q&A. After the show ends, Jimmy opens the floor for an epic Q&A with the audience. This is where you'll finally get to see the real Jimmy Fallon, as he answers questions from random attendees. And some of them can elicit an emotional and deep response, so you better be ready. But the questions can be funny too, like the time an audience member asked him if he had any funny talents, and he just looked away and shook his head. This is where you get to see the real down-to-earth Jimmy, and it's a real treat indeed. What do you think about the rules guests and audience have to follow on The Tonight Show? Are they too strict? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to The Taco.